Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm calling the meeting to order. Let's do roll call. Marian Plunder present. Judy Murphy. Megan Richards. Present. Nona Chiarello. Here. Teresa Coleman. Here. Sarah Gilbert.
Here.
Elissa Lowe, no. Chris Morris.
Here.
Dieter Waltz, no. Jörg Zimmerman, no. Okay, oral communications. So I have what I would like to call an emergency item. It has to do with the April native plant months. What's the thing about an emergency item? Can we discuss it now, or can we discuss it under maybe committee business? But I would like it discussed, and that's why I'm calling it an emergency item. Okay.
I think you add it to the agenda.
I'm going to add it to
rather
the
than
agenda.
Under oral communication.
Okay. Do we have oral communication from the audience? No. Okay. Then let's go to the approval of the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look at them? Any changes necessary? I think there might be one change. I noticed that for the Frog Pond, Yogi is not on the committee. Is that true? Did he say he is not on the committee?
I think he's still on the committee.
Okay.
And actually you're right, in the meeting minutes, it doesn't have him, but on that
I know.
spreadsheet, it does.
I know. Okay.
I
So I'll
believe
make
he
a
should
change.
stay on.
Yeah.
The reason he wasn't is because at the time of the meeting, it said, we agreed, the lead was Sarah with Nona and Judy as other members.
Okay.
That's what I documented.
Okay. I think he is on the committee. I would be very surprised if he would. So we'll just make that change.
Okay.
Is anything else? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes with that small correction.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes so approved. Okay, so the first item, the committee presentation to town council. It's going to be really short because the date has changed from February 11th to March 11th. Veronica sent me an email and said that the schedule for February is too full. And I said, no sweat. So just that you know, you might want to put March 11, it's a Wednesday, obviously, on your calendar to come and give rah-rah support when I'm presenting. Okay, then the second item, subcommittee assignments, and I just want to go to that matrix because I have a few comments. The first one is Darcy sent an email to Judy and me regarding Springdown. They have signed the contract with Go Native. So that's good news. That's information for you. Broompool will talk later. Regarding the biocide, herbicide, rodenticide subcommittee, as I noticed, and you might have noticed, it's gopher time. And we, with the help of Eliza, who has spent quite some time on it, have updated the matrix with the traps. And I was wondering, I was asking Nona as the chair, should we put this matrix out? Does it have to be changed? Does it have to be updated?
The last draft I saw needed some updating.
Of the matrix. I'm just talking about the matrix, not about the article.
The matrix from a year ago? Or
No, the latest one. So,
it needs,
yeah.
I think it needs.
Is it possible for your subcommittee to do this relatively quickly? Because the gophers are definitely out there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just put something out on the forum. Doesn't have to be a big article. Because the existing we don't even really know where the existing one is. And I think the new one is easier to read and has some additions of some nicer traps.
I know where all the versions are, so I think the question is which version is most useful, and maybe I don't know how you want to address that, but,
Subcommittee should
It's a
decide.
subcommittee.
okay.
Why
Yeah.
don't you do it in the subcommittee? But I
Subcommittee.
don't think we should wait another 5 weeks with putting something out.
Okay,
because
so
I think
can
it's
the subcommittee make a decision?
Yes,
And then post?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, okay, perfect. And then let me go down, backyard habitat. Chris asked me for the list of the addresses. We're working on it. I'm making progress, we're working on it. And then
Marianne, I'm sorry, I am completely lost. Where are you?
I am in the subcommittee assignment sheet, item 2 of the agenda.
Yeah, and where are you within that?
And now I have gone down and I am now at the tip of the month and what's blooming now, because I would like to make a suggestion to have a due date.
So you're using the matrix to be our agenda?
No,
You're not
I am
talking about-
going through item 2, which is subcommittee assignments,
Right.
attachment P,
Oh,
and
we're
I
in
have
attachment
comments.
Bs. Okay.
I have comments.
Okay.
It's outside, it's a different agenda item.
Okay.
So regarding the what's blooming now and the tip of the month, what would be helpful from my experience and also for the town, for Elizabeth, if we would have a due date, would that work for you too? No, you need to be completely open when you do this.
Yes. Yeah, I can't add another
Okay.
due date to my,
You can't say I have it by the 15th or by the 20th of every month.
before the next meeting.
Okay. Because the problem is we're missing issues. So she has something around the 15th. And if we don't have what's blooming now, then there is nothing there. Sometimes.
So is the meeting cycle not the appropriate monthly cycle? Does it need to be between, by the middle of the month every month, and then we just start working on it separate? I mean, if it's once a month, that's one thing, and but I don't want to decide on something in a meeting on the 3rd and say I have to do it within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you saying she has a hole in something that she needs filled in by a certain date?
She issues it. I don't really know her schedule completely.
What's it?
Her newsletter.
The town update.
Yeah.
And it
I,
comes
I,
out,
for example,
it comes out twice a month?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
one would be close to our meeting and the other one would be 2 weeks.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the reason why, and I can back off, but the reason was the last tip of the month came out one day after she put her thing out. So we missed it by one
Came
day.
out or?
She
you-
was, she did, so
So
we had a really nice article. And because we don't have a date, they come when you have time to do it. I got it one day after she published her newsletter.
So the next newsletter is 2 weeks later. So what's the problem with it being 2 weeks after that?
Well, sometimes it's more timely, depending what we do,
Well,
nesting.
I get the tip, what's blooming now. Maybe the flowers are all gone, but usually,
Yeah.
it's
But if it's not possible,
usually-
then it's a mute point. If you need the flexibility, then we'll keep it as it is.
Seems to me the main reason to do it would be to have it like 3 weeks out from our meeting. So that it's well done. I mean, that people had 3 weeks to do it. so they
Yeah,
would sooner
yeah,
or
right, exactly. Yeah, you need
later,
time. Yeah.
but they're not under the gun.
Yeah.
At
Okay,
this point, she doesn't want us to
Yeah.
tell her. She's got to have it
yeah,
in 3
no,
days
okay,
after the-
okay. You had a comment.
I guess I just wanted some clarification. Sometimes we post directly to a forum and sometimes we go through the town for the town to post a forum and to distribute. We
The
could do
way-
both and then
We do. So what we do is I post it to the forum under the Conservation Committee email soon as I get it. And I send it to Elizabeth, but I don't really know when she is putting it
Right.
into the,
So it gets out right away. I mean, I can post to the forum too for conservation. So that's what I did in the last What's Blooming Now. I just posted it directly.
right.
But historically, we have asked by the town not to do that, Mary Ann.
No,
We-
no, this is perfectly fine.
Oh,
The-
great.
The
Okay.
players have changed. We also put it onto the website. Don't forget, there is also a link on the website, What's Blooming Now. And I have to send an email to Elizabeth that this happens. This doesn't happen automatically. So from a logistics perspective is you finish your article. Now with Megan asked me to put she's sending it to me and I am sending it to the forum because of the login issues. So I know when it's ready and then I put it on the forum and I send it to Elizabeth for the newsletter and I send it to Elizabeth for the website.
Okay,
Yours,
and is that your preferred sequence?
well, if you post it and I don't read the forum and you then send it to me, it doesn't go to Elizabeth.
All right,
So
I'll
that-
send it to you.
Yeah. I'm perfectly happy for you to send it because you can log on to the forum. Just make sure you also send it to me because you can't assume that I know from the forum that the article is ready because I don't read the forum every week. Okay, so that's good.
The main reason to have one is I remember when I was trying to sort of, it's in the back of my head and then it's like, oh my God, we're gonna have a meeting. I better get it done. So,
I know.
but I totally appreciate it. Shouldn't be anywhere close to our meeting because that's,
Yeah.
stresses people.
Yeah, okay. All right, so those were the comments I had for item 2. And now we're at old business. Item A, subcommittee update on the draft of the fence ordinance, which you have seen on attachment A. And maybe Nona, you can try to put it, you can't? Oh, okay, Chris, I'm sure. So before I hand over to my esteemed subcommittee members, I just want to let you know that the subcommittee met twice. We met last month. It's on the screen here.
Not sure why we can't see it on here.
Well, that's okay. Everybody has it.
Yeah, so it is being shown.
Yeah. I mean, it's important that the public sees it so the public can see it. Well, as there is nobody out there, it doesn't really matter. Okay. I was just checking. It's the three of us. All right. So we had 2 meetings. The first one, the subcommittee met with Carter War, who was. No, we're looking at desktop on the
We aren't seeing.
Now we see the fence. Now we see the fence.
I don't know why that one's not working, but it is showing.
It's showing here.
That's what the people at home see.
Yeah, but there is nobody online, so.
So,
Matter.
so why are we bothering to struggle with sharing?
Right, let's move on. Okay, so I'm trying this now the 4th time. We had 2 meetings. The first meeting was, the subcommittee met with Carter War and we were presenting, what we were discussing, the different solutions, and we'll get into that. And then based on that, we were putting our heads together, and we had another subcommittee meeting about a week ago where we finalized the text. And Nona or Megan, do you want, or maybe Judy, who wants to summarize what we came up with? Judy, do you want to summarize what we came up with?
Well, it's in red. So you can see what changes.
No,
we
that's
made.
not what I mean. Okay, I'll summarize. When we met with Carter, it was very clear that he was not going to go for the 10 feet setback. Over his dead body. So it was an hour-and-a-half meeting or something like that. And at the end, Carter said we should be bold, and he would agree, or he could support if we change everything to 4 feet maximum height. And that is actually something we had discussed 6 months ago. And for whatever reasons, we didn't completely think it through. So after Carter was saying he would support that, we were putting our thinking caps on, and the latest version has the 4-foot height in it. And maybe you want to take it now from there with the changes.
Well, the main thing we did is we stopped messing with that grid, the summary grid, because it was never all inclusive and it was very confusing. So we've just focused on the ordinance itself and made pieces in the ordinance. And let me remind you, as we talk about this, all of this ordinance relates to fences in the required yard that is outside of the building envelope, setbacks, or whatever you want to call it. So the changes that we settled on are in red. Definition of a domestic fence, which you can see, which is different than wildlife friendly. So we added domestic fences are wildlife friendly if they comply with the section that defines wildlife friendly. We added same thing with the horse fence. There's an existing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll start giving the numbers then. We're still on page 1 of 7 as my numbering there. We took great efforts to change as little of the language as possible so that it didn't become, more complex or opaque to people. So we stayed within their design, if you will, and tried to make our language congruent with their language. And so that's why a lot of it is the way it is. So 1804-215 is the given definition of horse fence. And to that, we added that horse fences are wildlife friendly if they comply with the section that defines wildlife friendly. And that section is 1804-315, which is a new section we are adding that defines wildlife friendly fencing as fencing that allows wildlife to safely pass over and under it. The height is a maximum of 4 feet. The minimum clearance is 16 inches above the ground. I see a typo there. There needs to be a space before the 16 inches.
Want to keep scrolling.
So
Don't
then
worry
on
about
the
the type.
next, down on the next page, under exceptions to requirements under fences, we left all the things that were already there, and we changed some of
Anna,
the.
can you go?
Isn't it, you've got it printed out in the minutes, Mary,
Oh, okay.
in your agenda packet.
But not
It's
everybody
printed out.
has it in front of them. He doesn't. Oh, you do. Okay, then it's fine. Okay, fine.
I'm assuming that everybody's
Yes.
scrolling
Yes.
along with me or.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Sure.
then under the exceptions to requirements, under B, where it used to say when located in any required front yard or required side yard abutting a street right away, the limit is 4 feet. We changed that to when located in any required yard, the height limit is 4 feet. This is, remember, just in the required yards, not the whole lot. And number 2, we added must be wildlife friendly. And there's been a suggestion from me that we make the language more congruent, that it says, as in number 1, when located in any required yard, the fence must be wildlife friendly, just to keep it all bureaucratically congruent. And then as you go down, to 1843-020, which is on page 3 of 7.
Where do you define required yard area?
Required yard is defined.
I'm just trying to find it.
It's defined elsewhere in the ordinances, and it's basically the setbacks on each side, and it's different for the 1 acre, less than 1 acre, 1 acre plus, and somebody knows them by heart. It's 25, 20. Well, why don't you read it out, Marianne, so everybody hears it, because not everybody knows it by heart, even I, who's looked at this ordinance 7,000 times.
It's a delightful table here. I'm going to attempt to paraphrase because I'm not going to hit all of these different divisions. So it's defined by combining district. They range from front and rear setbacks of 20 feet in the smallest parcels to up to 50 feet in the front for the largest parcels. And side yards range from a minimum of 5 feet to a maximum of 25 feet. I think the vast majority of properties fall into kind of a middle range of 50-foot front setbacks and 20-foot side and rear setbacks, with the smaller, less than 1 acre, having 20-foot front, 20-foot rear, 10-foot side. That's helpful.
So I have a question, because I tried to work my way through this. And my understanding from the ordinance is that it's based on zoning, not on size of property, which basically means all of this would basically be subject to this, and only these tiny little ones would not. Which is fine. I think technically though, as I was going through this, I think the way we did this is not correct. I think the ordinance part should have stopped where you started specifying the heights. Like the others, you should have basically said what the intent was. And then on the actual height part is where you specify the heights. And then you need a section probably now for clearance, because you've introduced that as a requirement. And that previously wasn't a requirement in it. And if you're going to accept, it looks like you're trying to accept the ones that were done in the location part where they cased it out, but that's not done in height. You probably need to case that out here too, rather than, because I don't think you can technically say required yards. I think each of these is in here for a technical reason, and then you just need to update each section to make things wildlife friendly. That's the way I think technically it's supposed to be done.
It's possible. I'm not sure.
Because otherwise you've introduced up here kind of requirements that aren't usually done at this level. Like they then get specified out.
You're absolutely right. And we looked at this as we did it. And because this is the way it was written, if we get into sort of a complex reordering and, re-editing and changing everything, we're going to meet with a lot more resistance, because then it's going to be, well, this should be put into a larger context and the whole thing should be redone. So we sort of made the decision. I agree with you. Why do you find things before you ever talk about the purpose? So they should have started with the purpose and had these things underneath, but they didn't. So we fit our changes into the existing document.
Which makes sense. I mean more for the intent that I'm reading, that I think technically in these ordinance things, that's just not the way you have to put it in those different
I think
sections.
one thing is important. I agree with you too. The thing is, we wrote it that way, so because the next step is going to the AFCC.
Okay.
And the code itself is going to be rewritten by the town.
Got it.
It's not going to be written by us or by AFCC. So this is more to keep it we were thinking.
That's fine.
As simple as possible.
Yeah,
But
so then-
you are right, and I would assume that when the town is writing it, that they are going.
That makes sense.
One would hope.
Yeah,
One would hope.
so then the net of it basically is that all fences, except on the smallest properties, are 4 feet tall with 18 inches of clearance.
Yes.
And that's
Unless
In
the
the,
horse-
the change.
only in the required yards, not for the
Not
whole property,
inside
not inside the building.
inside the
But
building.
nobody knows what a required yard is my point, is that I'm reading, I know you think you know, but for me, reading this, it says all fencing must be wildlife, all fencing. It doesn't say all fencing in required areas. In this. Okay.
The ordinances, planning, oh, I'm sorry. So planning has verbiage about the required yard and the building envelope in the planning department at the town. We don't need to talk about that. The town knows when the town gives gives a planning permit or whatever, that's the people who look at that. We don't need to. We just refer to what the town has defined.
Also, before, in section 18O earlier, that doesn't show here. It doesn't show here, so I can't tell you what it is, but it's the beginning of section 18. When it first starts talking about fences, it says that it's talking about fences, the fences in the required yards, does it not? Because we had this discussion at same length. Should we put it in to each of these sentences? It's not, Teresa, it doesn't show here because it's not in the part of the ordinance that we changed.
Yeah,
So I don't have the whole ordinance here, but the ordinance number 18 point say, as it very begins, there's a paragraph that says that this section has to do with fences in the required yards. And that fences, the other fences inside, not in the required yard, which is these setbacks, 50, 20, 20 for the big ones, 25, 10, 10 for the 1 to 2 acre ones. Within those setbacks, you can have any kind of fence you want.
yeah. For example, Teresa, there is, and you probably have never seen this, there is a section somewhere in the ordinance, inside the building envelope, you're allowed to have a double fence. There are lots of things, okay? What we're focusing on is just when we say required yard, believe us, just believe us.
Okay, and then when we say horse corral, that should not be in. And if, I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways, Mary Ann. If you want to talk about horse fencing and you're calling it horse fencing, you're not saying horse type fencing or whatever utilized for perimeter fencing. You're specifically talking about horse fencing here. You're not making that distinction.
Teresa, we have
And
not
there is a
changed.
separate and I spoke to this multiple times in the past, and it's still in here the same way.
Teresa, we have had this discussion. So we have not changed the horse fence definition. I asked Carter, who is on the ASCC, is a horse person. If there need to be an adjustment with our definition, I'm sure this is going to come up. This is our draft. You got to understand, this is our draft. And we can't keep arguing with you about horse fences every month. We have heard you.
Just horse fences. What I'm trying to say is, when I read through this, it says all fencing must. And I understand you're saying it's all fencing within this required area, which is never addressed anywhere.
It is addressed. It's
Here.
just not in the printout.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it online here as we talk.
Would it hurt to put it in there?
It's
on-
already.
It's
in there.
already defined.
Already there.
We are trying to go with the definitions. It's a kludgy written ordinance.
I've read codes before, and they're hard to read.
Yeah, they're hard to read. It's in there. 4 people with reasonable brains have worked on this since December 2024. I think we're at the time where, what is it? Get off the pot. There is some scent. We just explained that okay, Nona.
I'm sharing the code. So
Okay.
if that's of any help.
Yeah.
I'll
Ca- ca-
unshare it if that would, it should be on your screen.
Can you bring up where it says required yards to put, Teresa?
That's what it, that's the page I've got.
Okay. Can you,
So 18.43.010, right, begins this
Well, I have
purpose.
020 as location.
But even before that, 010, the purpose of the fence regulation is to ensure that fences in required yards in residential zoning districts conform to the following principles. So they're not talking about fences anywhere other than in the required yard. All of the ordinance pertains only to fences in the required yard. And that starts out this whole section. So it applies to everything in the section. So to have each and every section repeat that this is only in your required yard, that this is only, right, doesn't make any sense. It would make a very voluminous document with no additional specificity.
no, Teresa, let's not move on. No, Teresa, this
right.
is going to go on forever. Did you see the text? Do you have a question to this text about the required yard? Let's address it right now. Do you have an additional question about the required yard? Okay,
All
okay,
right, I'm going to stop sharing the
Okay.
code.
all right.
Okay?
Where are we now, Judy? It's okay.
Chalk, I was hoping I could draw it. Let's see, where was I?
We were at the height, right?
Yeah,
Okay, you want me to go back to sharing the other one?
I think we all have it. We have established that.
It's being recorded, right? And so.
Okay,
so, yeah, so then we are going down now to the next change is in, on page 3 of 7, 18.43020,
18, say that again?
18.43.020,
location.
location. And because there are different zoning districts that say different things, we made changes in each of those zoning districts. In districts requiring a minimum parcel of less than an acre, domestic fences or fences consistent with the standards of a horse fence are allowed in required yards, including along property lines. We added fences that are wildlife friendly are recommended but not required. And then number 2, in districts, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's very similar. In districts that are minimum 1 acre and up to 2 acres, we added all fences must be wildlife friendly. Once again, this is all fences within the required yard. And number 3, in the minimum 2 acre parcels, we put horse fences must be wildlife friendly. They already have, already that says in the more than 2 acres already ordinances, only horse fences are allowed in required yard. And then one of the more impactful ones that we feel the most strongly about is number 6 along there, where it has had a section where double fencing was allowed, and we have changed that to double fencing is not permitted. Now, this ordinance speaks only to required yards. So we've had some, there've been some pushing to
I
say
just
that's true
reali-
for the whole lot, but we
There was an
haven't
error.
done that.
We made a thinking error in this one.
Yeah.
I just realized it. As the fencing is referred here to in the required yard,
It'll need to be done somewhere else.
it needs to be some, yeah.
Right.
So thank you for bringing this up because that's good. That's good.
Okay, moving along then, height, there's a section called height. And once again, I totally agree with Chris. It's all screwdaddle the way this is organized. Now it talks about height. we changed in section B, fences in residential zoning districts are subject to the following height limits. Fence height shall not exceed 4 feet. It used to say in front yard, 6 feet inside and rear yards, 4 feet in side yards along right of way. We changed it to 4 feet in required yards.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Please do.
I'm trying to catch up on it. I thought I heard you say within the permitted envelope, you could do whatever you wanted outside of the required yards, including double fences. But you guys specifically said not that right here.
Well,
Right.
yes.
That's a mistake?
No, that's not a mistake, but I'm not sure if it's strong enough. That's what I was thinking. Is it really strong enough?
Well, our desire that we talked about was to say that nowhere on your lot could you put a double fence.
Yeah.
Yes, you are, that is what you.
But that is not what this accomplishes. And
It
and what we're
doesn't. I
trying to
just
accomplish
realized it.
now
It
is
doesn't.
with some clarity.
Yeah.
is Changes we want in the required
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah.
And I think we need to look, or we need to bring it up at ASCC.
It needs to go into another section.
Feel strongly
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
And say, we feel strongly this should
Yeah.
be done, but it's not in this ordinance, so you guys figure out
Yeah.
where to put it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what
Yeah.
we'll come up with.
That sums it up.
And that going on down, opacity, we made no changes in these other things,
We're going down to 1843,080.
all the way down to fence permits and administration is the next change, correct?
Yep.
18.43.080. We added a section to enable people for whom these requirements were onerous, didn't fit with their lot at all, the shape of their lot, the way it worked, instead of using their required setbacks. We put in an exception when a fence permit application demonstrates an alternative means of providing equal or better porosity of wildlife and or habitat. The ASCC may grant relief to wildlife-friendly requirements along a side or rear property line or some portion thereof. Now, we're not sure that's the final wording we want it to be, but the idea is we're adding a section that allows for exceptions so that it's
Yeah.
not draconian, so that if your lot is set up so that the only way you can have a vegetable garden is in this place and if part of it's in the required yard, you can do that. If you, set something back more, a little bit on the other side, or make the front setback a little deeper, or
Working with the ASCC.
the way you want to come up with it, as long as you're not doing that in a way that blocks the wildlife more. So that we hope to then with this meet the very appropriate resistance of that just won't work on my lot. It's not fair to make regulations that make it impossible for somebody to have, what they would like to have in a reasonable way.
Is this retroactive or is it only for new?
Nothing's
applications?
ever
Not- no.
retroactive except if you rebuild a certain point, there's a section in here somewhere about,
So they would only say that if they were rebuilding and repurposing.
right, if fence goes down and you're re-permitting, or if you decide you want a different kind of fence or whatever. Yes. No.
Yeah.
So that so the idea is gradually with time,
Yep.
fences go down, the community becomes more and more porous. It is in.
It's in there. Yeah.
Somewhere.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's
Discussion.
it. Right. Yeah. I'm not sure why the last section was even added in here because we didn't change the last section at all.
The last section was in here because this was intended to have everything that we needed to consider.
Ah,
So if it said anything about
Yeah,
fences,
yeah.
it's.
Had to
it's
be
not.
complete.
so are there pieces, is it continuous from the beginning to the end? What we need to consider? Should we, as we do it, put that first paragraph from the ordinance in that makes it clear?
We sure can. We weren't, yeah.
Yeah, we should,
Yeah,
because
in
then
our-
the required
in our
yard is
working
defined.
Committee, of course, we've
Yes.
just been looking at the pieces we needed to. But as we make the document that goes to ASCC, I think it would be important to
Yeah.
add that section in and to remember to make some sort of a
No,
note about
yeah.
double fencing.
I think that it should have a preamble then about where the edits are. because it's going to be very long if you include not only the ordinance, but all
Mhm.
the definitions and,
So we'll do like a
Purpose.
summary,
yeah, so
Yeah.
have a summary.
yeah,
Okay.
so people can find the
And
edits.
the use of the red ink makes it totally clear what's changed and what hasn't. Okay,
Okay, so we already had some comments, but this is now the official comment sections. Any additional comments, concerns, ideas? No?
Well, there were some suggestions for.
Oh, the
minor
suggestions.
edits.
We had two
Want to make the
suggestions.
minor edits now,
Yes, let's do them right now.
right?
Um, Do
okay,
you have
that
do you have
was,
the edits?
if you go back to.
Well-
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, we're on 5, the exceptions. We could change
just go
equal or
backwards?
better porosity to wildlife to equal or better wildlife movement, just to make it a little clear.
I-
Movement and or habitat.
I think the issue with that phrasing, we took that from one of our previous versions when we
Yeah.
were allowing taller fences to be set back. In my mind, if we're requiring a 4-foot perimeter fence around the entire, then we're saying that the entire site should be porous to wildlife. There isn't a comparison to make that equal or better to, or it's not as clear of a comparison, what you're making it equal or better to. So it feels like it needs to be some kind of a ratio or a percentage, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to work with the ASCC on that because we have come to the end of our rope. We can't really improve this anymore.
Although I liked Megan's language, I'm sorry, Nona's language here, just because it's less,
Yeah,
a little less ponderous, porosity, sort of. Well, I mean, I get it.
yeah, we
Most
can do that. And there were 2 edits. One was your edit. That's the one. And then Nona, you had one other edit, I thought.
No.
Oh,
Right,
Judy
but
mentioned
let's-
it, and
let's
those
not
are the
jump-
2
let's not
edits.
jump
Okay.
To that if we haven't decided. We haven't reached a conclusion here, have we?
Can you say again what it is? The word,
The idea is that if they need, if because of the way their lot is, they need to put their garden fencing, their taller, non-wildlife friendly garden fencing in part of the required yard, they would, their other setbacks, their other required yard would get a little larger.
how about something like to refer to a formula to be defined? Would that help towards your, calculations?
Well, it says equal or better. So I mean, that.
Yeah, but she said it's 100%. He's right.
Not 100%. This is in the required yard. It's not talking about the whole lot. It's not the whole lot is in the forest, the wildlife. It's that the required yards are forest to
Okay.
wildlife. So if it's that, if you intrude into the required yard on the east, then either in the back or on the west, you redefine the required yard. And it says equal or better already. So I don't think you need a.
I
Maybe
agree. I
should
think
say
it gets at what we're
exceptions.
trying to do. And if it needs to be more specific, ASCC is. the
That's what
place.
I think. ASCC, those are the guys with the knowledge.
Maybe,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I-
maybe something about if it's, if we're trying to do is make it clear that exceptions are possible. The sentence should have exception in it somewhere. Exceptions may be made.
Yeah, and in fact, I see that in the code a lot,
Uh-huh.
exception. and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we can work the word exception into this sentence somehow.
Where you just start, exceptions may be made, when a fence permit application demonstrates an alternative need, providing equal or better.
I think-
Whatever Nona said
I
a
think-
moment ago.
Oops. Sorry, hold on. I'm doing it as we speak.
I think that under the context of heading C, though, that doesn't make as much sense because the sentence actually begins, the ASCC shall have the authority to review existing fences and fence permit applications under the following conditions. And everything starts with upon or when,
That's right. Okay, so we have to do it in as a second sentence or something.
or add at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
Comma, an exception may be made.
Yeah, instead of saying the ASCC may grant relief, it can say the ASCC may make exception.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay,
And then I think.
Wait a minute. Where do you want to say that?
you take grant
In
relief
5?
out.
Yeah, in section 5.
All right, so just tell me what. So ASCC may make
May make
grant
exception
exceptions?
instead of grant relief.
Oh, okay, so back,
Grant exception.
may,
Can you say grant exception? Can you grant an exception?
okay, so we have the ASCC may grant exceptions to wildlife-friendly requirements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
and then that pretty much says
all right.
okay.
what we want it to say.
I still think wildlife movement and or habitat would be better than equal or better porosity.
I
to
do.
Okay.
too. I do too.
Yeah, make
Yep.
it So,
It's just more straightforward.
okay, so alternative means of providing equal or better wildlife movement and or habitat. The ASCC may grant exceptions.
What's
Okay?
a better movement to habitat?
It says movement and or habitat. So
Oh, okay.
wildlife movement or
And
wildlife
wildlife habitat.
or wildlife.
Okay.
habitat, And or.
Okay.
Where's mine? I'm looking back where it was.
That was a typo at the very beginning, but
Oh,
Judy,
I know.
remember you had
I know, yeah, here, it's, page 2 of 7 at the very top, 18.42.040. Four two point oh four oh.
Mm,
18.42.040.
that is exceptions to requirements,
Yeah,
fences.
B2. To make the sentence similar to the sentence in number 1, when located in any required yard. You just make your strikeouts like they were above.
Make the whole sentence, Judy. You have to
When
make a whole
located
sentence.
In any required yard. Yeah.
There is more missing, the
Two.
fence, or you got to say what?
B2.
No, it's not a complete sentence.
Number 2. Number 1 is okay.
When located in any required rear. We need to say what needs to be wildlife
Well,
friendly.
she's working on getting her strikeouts right.
Do you want, let's see, fences must be?
Not
The
complete.
fence must be
Not-
what? When located in any required yard. Right, but section 1 has a full sentence, and so section 2 should match it. I can't see. So. Yes. Isn't that better than just a fragment hanging out there?
Oh, I see what it is. 1804P15, clearance space 16.
1804?
Wildlife friendly clearance space. It's in there.
She did that.
Yeah, you changed, She put that in already.
All right.
Okay, may I make a motion that in its present form, we take this proposal to ASCC?
wait,
Oh, comments. We need to-
no,
Could you just clarify that in its present form means in its edited form?
Right, okay. May, I move that our proposed changes to the fence ordinance in the form we have corrected tonight be taken to ASCC.
no, because we're going to add something at the opening, I thought.
Oh, I'm
About-
sorry, I thought that was in the corrections. You want me to specify the corrections?
Well,
No.
It's
it's
the
not
thing,
in the form that we have it here. We have to add in the earlier sections of the code.
Including,
Why don't you say the word?
say the wording.
I'm gonna get it
Okay,
wrong.
so that we propose that we submit this to ASCC, including the sections of the code that precede what is shown here, and also a section that highlights what the changes will be.
and
Note that restrictions on double fencing needs to be added
No.
somewhere else in the code.
Why don't let us get,
we're
yes.
talking about required yard definition. I
No, no,
thought
no, no.
We
Well,
did, you did say that.
That
You
is-
did agree. That was one other change that should be included at one point.
That's what she just said.
She just said that. the
That she just said
introduction.
that.
That'll be included.
That was the
That's the,
Yeah.
that's the definition.
And does it need to include a note that we want to make an additional note that we want to restrict double fencing, but this is not the right place to do it? And we.
Let's leave it open. Let's leave it open.
A second.
Okay, let's see a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Against? Abstention? You're abstaining. Okay, so we have one abstention and the rest is in favor. Motion passes. So I will reach out to the town because the town needs to initiate that this goes on the ASCC agenda. Okay, thank you.
And thanks to everybody. I mean, we worked our tails off in subcommittee, but the feedback we've gotten here has really guided and been very helpful with what we did when we went back into subcommittee.
Could I make just a little comment, just to give a sense of timing and stuff? So this will have to go through the planning staff before it gets to the ASCC.
When was that change made?
Well, it always has, before something goes to the ASCC, it always has to go through planning staff, not planning commission, the planning staff,
Right, right. That's where I'm sending it to.
a report about this. I'm just wanting to let you know, just to give you a sense of timing, that they are currently working on new ADU regulations, which ours are out of date and no longer lawful. They are working on the housing element to get it, well, it's been submitted to the state, so we're waiting to hear back. They're working on the new zoning for the MU 20 to 25. That's going to be, that was heard by the ACC last week, and we'll still probably need to go to the ACC. Trying to think, they're working on the safety element as well. And I just want to remind everyone, we have one person in planning department.
Yeah, actually, I have a question for you.
There will probably be quite a delay.
Yeah,
before
let me
this-
ask you, then. We have gone through this before, mid-2025. I submitted it to planning and planning, to the planning director. I know I was talking with him. Staff did not look this through and checked it. The planning directors put it on the ASCC agenda, so ASCC looks at it. Why would planning think this through as ASCC is going to make the relevant changes? I don't understand the logic.
I don't think ASCC does make the relevant changes. I think they make suggestions.
Right.
And the eventual thing is done
Yeah,
by the.
I
school.
understand, but
But could we bring it, I mean, I understand they're super busy. Could we not bring it informally, informally as a draft to ASCC so that we get their input? They make changes they might like to see, and then planning does the real work, and that'll be down the line somewhere.
You could request that of the
Yeah.
planning.
we
department.
we fully understand that once it goes to planning, that this is not a priority and that will take time. For us, it's really important that ASCC gets, that we get buy-in from ASCC.
Well, I think you just need to request a study session with the
Yeah.
ASCC.
Okay,
As opposed to actually, if the planning department doesn't have time to go through this and see that it's legal,
Mhm.
that it's, that it adheres.
It's
with
too
other
early.
Laws,
Yeah.
because all the ADU laws now give you can build an ADU
Right.
4 feet from property line.
Right.
So a lot of this, they have to confirm that what's written in here can be actually implemented legally without having the town sued by somebody,
Yeah.
which happens unfortunately kind of frequently in this town.
Yeah,
So-
no, we understand that, but I think,
Maybe, requesting a study session with the ICC.
yeah, study session is
That's a
perfect.
good idea. 'cause
That's
in
what we'll do. That's a really good idea. Thank you.
It's better if planning does that level of reporting after they know.
Of
what
course.
Conservation and ASCC sort of want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a loops back. at the end.
This is not ready to be looked at by a planner to look at all the details. It's not ready. So we'll do it a study session. Thank you for that feedback. That's really helpful. Okay. All right. We're going to skip over B. We're going to go to C. And actually, Teresa brought up a good point. I'm going to skip over certain points because it took us so long, just to explain to you. There might not be enough broom to pull. It's a nice problem to have, but at the moment, we're at the point where there doesn't seem to be enough broom to pull. That's why I sent the email out to the forum yesterday. I didn't get any answer, but I was looking for broom. I know you found something for 3 people, but Teresa says there could be 20 people, and we certainly at the moment do not have stuff for 20 people. So we'll have to keep looking. We'll keep it on the schedule, but we have to find addresses. So,
Or, I mean, if there's really not enough room, then we should decide that we're not going to do this because we've got, we're contacting people to help and we're.
Okay.
Et cetera, et cetera. It's like,
Okay.
why
So
can't-
I've contacted the scouts, but I've also, who are on board, ready to come and participate. However, I did, when I contacted them, say that if anything were to change, I would let them know immediately, which is only polite. Yeah.
so maybe,
I did,
as
as
I said-
requested, I talked to Alex to get grassroots ecology
Yeah.
calendar, et cetera.
No
And
tr-
so,
there is no broom. That's the problem.
well, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I'm saying if we're going to cancel, we should cancel soon. so
Yes,
that- so that,
yes.
Like they can take it off their
Yes.
calendar, et cetera.
I think we should cancel it within the next 10 days.
But we're not meeting.
Can't we cancel it without a meeting? I mean, why couldn't we cancel it without a meeting? We put it on. Or the thing is, I have just asked for feedback. If we cancel it today, it's really unreasonable because we just asked the whole town for feedback.
I think we should be able to make a motion today that the subcommittee, will, because we're having problems finding enough sites, will investigate more. And if they can't come up with a workable number of sites
Perfect.
within a week, it will be canceled.
10 days. Let's make it 10 days. Week is a bit short. 2 weeks. Okay. All right. We have a
I so
motion.
move.
Second,
I agree.
all in favor? Got the motion. Okay. Tip of the month. Megan, you have an idea what you want to do? Share? Yeah.
Making typos here. I have a few possibilities in mind. I've noticed a lot of work going on around town, causing soil disturbance of all scales. So one possibility could be a reminder that the soil that erodes from that little ditch you dug or that giant pad you've cleared washes down in the rain that will eventually come again and go straight into our creeks. That's one option. Another is reminders about kind of tree care principles, protecting roots, protecting the soil, some basic tenets of pruning. You could go either way.
Maybe included in that one would be birds are nesting again now, so don't do your tree work now.
Okay. Have any preferences? Something speaking to the group? All right, I'll make a decision and do one.
Okay. Nona, what's blooming? Anything? Plenty?
Lots of
Lots?
plants are blooming. I was wondering what our position is right now on manzanitas. And I
Oh,
know that, the fire district doesn't like them, but if they're far enough from the house, I don't see why we can't
Okay.
talk about them.
so just mention
And
that.
they're
far-
all flowering now.
They're
so-
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I'm going to skip over F. It's not crucial. Committee liaisons, open space, is there anything you need to mention? Okay. Trail,
Open space meets Thursday if anyone's interested.
anything you need to mention, Teresa?
We did discuss the mowing schedule. Sarah was actually able to Zoom into the meeting as well, so they are very much trying to work with scheduling to accommodate as much maintenance of wildflowers as possible.
Okay. I have nothing from my side. Judy, Wildlife Day, the committee, whatever it's called, nothing, okay? Moving rapidly along. I'll mention the because it only takes 2 minutes. There was a special request by Darcy. She does that. She comes to the committee. She asked that the committee could go to the Ladera Church and look at the significant trees there. And there was no issue. Habitat for Humanity is building on the 1/4 acre of the church that's actually in the town, 2 or 3 houses, depending what they'll decide. And no significant trees have to be removed. So that was really good. I was happy about that. All right. The Solana review, there were no changes, so we didn't submit a report. I just sent an email that everything is fine. You saw that we don't talk about the trees. Can I see a show of hands that we have a quorum on March 3?
You had an emergency item.
Oh, do we still want to do that? You guys want to be at an hour, so I'm trying to be accommodating. Maybe we should do the emergency item. Okay, all right, coming back to that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anymore, okay? So we got an email from, what's her name? From the town council person. I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry. Mary Hafty. April, is it March or is it April now? Hang on. April is Wildflower Month or something like that?
Native plant.
Native-
California native.
California Native Plant Month. And the town, yeah, I know, I'm dead, okay? The Woodside Elementary School wants to do something with the pool, maybe some pictures or whatever, and Mary said she will ask the Conservation Committee if we have some ideas. I didn't even know that we had this month. So should we be doing something as a committee for this month? Should we do something? Because we have to decide this now. It's not that far out.
Are we being asked to participate in something?
No, we were asked if we have some ideas what the school could be doing, but that's not my question because this is in Woodside and it's a Woodside school. I mean, they have plenty of people. But given that there is this month, the focus on the month, and we are the Conservation Committee, should we be putting something out, an article in the newsletter, or should we be doing something? That is my question.
Maybe we should first figure out what it actually is.
Well, if we know, and actually we don't know, I haven't looked to validate
on.
it, but we were told that April is designated by somebody, the state, county, I don't know. California Native Plant Month.
It's the April is California Native Plant Month.
Says
That's
who?
what it is.
Right, says who is the quite, you know,
I
federal
believe it's the
government,
state.
State government, the county, anyway, not, yeah. It seems to me that since we're the Conservation Committee, it would be sensible for us to do something.
That's what I think.
I don't think we should do I don't think we should have a,
Subcommittee?
you know, a picnic. But let me ask a question, is there a plan for town picnic in the spring? Because we, you know, we put some effort
April.
into that every
Town
year.
In the spring.
I mean, haven't there been haven't the town picnics been?
Or a music event?
Or
There's been something that happens in the spring, because when we
Well,
made the tip bowls, they were
usually we
full.
have an Earth Day event,
Earth
right?
Day, Right.
used to have an Earth Day, but it
Yeah.
was managed by the Sustainability Committee, which right now is on total hiatus. so-
Right, and
I
used to
see.
alternate
Okay.
Woodside, Portola Valley, Woodside.
And we weren't getting any traction. People just stopped showing up. So it was too much work.
Okay.
So you were thinking of a big event? You were
No, I'm
thinking-
saying
okay.
specifically,
okay.
no, we don't.
Oh, you don't?
not-
Okay.
Don't do a big event, but we should do something, and it might be just a posting on the forum, you know, or a series through the month, you know, once a week.
Well,
This is California Native Plant Month. These are these are the California natives that will do well in your garden.
right.
Be
right.
a, you
We
know,
don't have to do this right now. We have to
Yeah.
decide right now, do we want to do it? And then we'll have a subcommittee and then we'll think what we want to do. We don't have to hash this out. And I agree with Judy. It's the California Native Plant Month. We should do something. So who wants to be on the subcommittee? And is there somebody here who would like to head it up?
well,
Okay.
Can we fold this into April's tip of the month and make it one effort?
No, it has to be bigger. I think it has to be bigger.
coordinated so that yours reflects.
That you're
what
part
we
of
do.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, that you're part of it.
But yeah, because you've got a lot of good info already and pictures and stuff from what you've done before, I think. So it might make sense to draw on some of that.
The thing is, I really think we as a committee, we have to start do more outreach. Chris asked me a really interesting question. He said, how do you know how popular the committee is? How many people know about the committee? Oh, they know what we do. And that is, I don't actually have the answer to these questions. We assume.
Nobody knows. Nobody on any committee knows. I don't think our job is to be popular and have people know about us. I think our job is to provide services to the town and the residents.
Well, actually, oh, go ahead.
If I could clarify, the spirit of what I was saying is that being a volunteer committee, or honestly, anytime you're doing any kind of work, if you're going to put work into it, you want to have as big of an impact as possible. And I agree that we don't need to be popular, but if I'm going to spend a few hours on something, I'd love it to impact a couple thousand people as opposed to like 10 of the people who are already super tuned into what the Conservation Committee does.
Yeah.
I got the impression a little bit that there's a small cohort in Portola that really puts a lot of stuff together for each other. And it doesn't necessarily influence the broader group as much, and that it might be,
Yeah.
it might be nice to figure out different ways to even just track which things we do actually have an impact beyond like how many people show up to an event or something like that. And so I'd be happy to maybe talk a little bit more about this next time or something. I've been doing a little bit of work around data and different things, because there's actually quite a lot of it out there. It's just the town doesn't seem to have much of it, or the committees. So I think there are things we could do, but that was
It
the,
would
that was
be-
the spirit.
Actually,
It would
yeah.
be great to know how many people click on the tip of the month to go
Actually-
look at the rest of it,
And
you
those
know?
it's very inexpensive software
Yeah,
that will tell you
yeah.
that.
I would actually disagree with you, what you just said. And it occurred to me when we're talking about priorities of the council, it is very clear that the Conservation Committee is pretty much, you were just counting at the bottom of the priorities of the council. And therefore, we are sort of at the bottom of priorities of Darcy, because Darcy takes her input from the council. And that's what I meant. I think we need to get a larger portion of the population excited about whatever we think is conservation, so that the town council then sees this and says, oh, this shouldn't be at the bottom. We shouldn't be doing that, and that until we come to the fence ordinance. So that's where I'm coming from. We are very low priority. Can you maybe,
Well, I wouldn't say that we're low priority. I would say, given the turmoil in the town for kind of the 2-3 years, 4 years, the pandemic, all that, and all the changeover and all the staff, there's just so many unmet needs that were happening, and there's legal things that we absolutely have to do. So we need to finish the housing element so that we don't get decertified again, so that we protect Ford Field. So we've got to get that done, and it's a huge amount of work. We've got to get a safety element. That too is supposed to be updated on the same schedule as the housing element, where like the housing element was supposed to have been updated in 2023. It took us 2 more years, but that's a
No,
side.
yeah.
But so it's also on like an 8-year schedule.
I
And
understand that.
there's stuff that absolutely has to be done because legally we're not in compliance with the state, because the state, passes a lot of laws that we
yeah,
comply with.
yeah.
So the fencing is not on any radar in the state,
No. I understand what you're saying. However, I see what a priority the Emergency Preparedness Committee all of it. And why? Not because of the committee, because the town council has decided this is really important. Then Darcy obviously says this is really important. And now the committee will do whatever they need to do. So that's what I'm talking about. Of course, housing, but there is a pecking order in terms of interest.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it is because, as town council members, we have to listen to kind of what the whole community wants. And the
Mhm.
whole community, one of their biggest priorities is safety,
Fire.
wildfire safety, geologic safety, you name it,
Yeah.
just the whole safety umbrella. So.
Oh, no,
um,
I fully understand it. But I think we could elevate ourselves if we get a bigger slice of if we do something that resonates with a bigger slice of the population.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it seems like with the death of the mountain lion, that really elevated
Yeah.
the, the awareness in the town for the wildfire corridors and that sort of thing. So that's something that you could continue to elevate. You would need to get more of the town involved in protecting native plants. I mean, that's not on people's radar.
No.
I can tell.
Yeah, education.
It's definitely, I mean, it helps to come out with your week of the month and whatever monthly little notices, but
Yeah, or for example, people have been, it's now quite some month ago, people were really talking about their rodents and I know we are not trapping people, but we don't want them to use poison. And then we got sidetracked with other things and it's still on hold. Or oxalis. I mean, oxalis is exploding. Everybody knows it. It's exploding on the forum. And what are we doing? So and maybe there is no answer for oxalis, but I wish we would, from one perspective, we're doing great work. There's no question we're doing work. But I think if we can pull in more people who understand that wildlife habitat is really, really important. They don't make it anymore. And therefore the fencing is important. So that would be outreach and education, and that would be work, but I think it would be worthwhile. So that's what I mean.
For the Native Plant Month, I would recommend that you do look at the California Native Plant Society, that they're the group that are really pushing for this. And they
Okay.
said on their website, we'll be back in April with more events, educational resources and actions you can take to support native plants across California. So it may be that you could just piggyback off. of
Yeah,
what-
thank you. Yeah. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All right. And with that,
So it might be that in terms of what you're talking about, if topicality is something important, then maybe we need a way of, maybe we need a topicality subcommittee or something, that when something comes up on the forum, people put their heads together, do something and respond to it. I think in general, you know, most people are not politically active. Most people, even when the town is wildly upset about something, if 30 or 40 people come to a meeting, that's a huge crowd and the council goes, whoa.
Yeah.
So, you know, there may be people who care enormously about this and they're never going to come, you know, out of the house to do something. They're not going to write the council. They're not going to, I think it's unrealistic to think that we can get a groundswell of people to become activists about protecting it. I think we can get them some, you know, that education efforts and things make them more sympathetic, more likely to support something, but to.
I mean, we do get feedback. We do get very good feedback from the people who come to the events and who look, for example, at our wildflower display. Yeah, we get your beautiful display with your little things.
Now there's no setting.
No, there is no setting.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
and
no
so
setting.
we
But
find-
maybe the internet could be the setting. Okay, the internet could be the
Well,
setting.
in a way, that's what's blooming now is designed to do. It was designed to put that in front of, you know.
Yeah,
young
yeah.
people.
No, it's not that we're not doing nothing. I just wish, well, I made myself clear. I don't have, and we can think about it. But finishing off now, you are going to chair this. I'll be on it then. Can we have a third person who wants to be on it about the month thingy? The April California Native Plant Month?
I'll help with it.
Okay.
I would just like to add to that last conversation. We all have very strong feelings about a lot of things and we get very excited about a lot of things. I think one thing that we run into is that our energy to address them or our availability to address them doesn't always match.
Yeah, that's true.
And, a few of you, not even me, have taken disproportionate amounts of work on, I think, over time. And I just don't want to fatigue the people who are currently on the committee. I often push back because I know I'm not going to be available. And I would just like to focus energy on a smaller quantity of things and doing them well.
Mhm.
So,
Agree. Like I've only been here a month, but this has kind of been the root of what I was saying about the impact thing, because it's not so different from being in a startup, right? You wish everybody knew what you were doing, and it's everything like partnering with bigger things that are already doing something. The thing that I feel like maybe lacking a little bit in this committee is I mean, normally we would do surveying or something. I think there's a lot of things that people might be interested or care about, but we kind of project the thing that we care about the most.
Mhm.
And so I think if we had a better idea of like what some of the pain points were, you'll elevate the perception of the Conservation Committee if we enable people to do that more, like just make it easier. Like, I'll tell you, I've been astounded by all the content I've dug up, buried on that town website in the Conservation Committee, like folder. It's
I
like,
know.
it's fantastic. You guys made all this. Nobody has seen it. I mean, like,
I know.
and you're talking about you only check the forums like once a week or something like that's what, you think you push it on there and all 4,000 people see it and they just don't.
No.
And so I think there's a lot of strategy and tactics we could do that will have a much bigger impact.
Mhm.
But to your point, it's just, I think we figure out where the biggest bang for the buck will be and then really be thoughtful about how to do
Yeah.
it. I think we could have
Okay,
like,
that sounds encouraging. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm happy. I'm put more thought into it. I don't know the right way to coordinate with the group on it, but I'm starting to form up some ideas and would love to bounce it off somebody. So maybe I'll you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, yeah, and we definitely don't want burnout. That would be the worst. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind putting in a lot of hours, but I think it makes it. It's just I'm sure everyone feels the same way. Burnout happens when you feel like you just keep putting in hours.
That's right.
It doesn't do anything.
Exactly. That's when burnout happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. On that high note, I'm going to close the meeting.